Hey, what's going on? It's Thomas Denzi with Combat Sports Coverage. And on this edition, I'll be interviewing UFC vet and bare knuckle boxing badass Jason the Kid Knight, where we'll be talking about his amazing victory he pulled off the 5th round TKO over Artem Lobov this past weekend at bare knuckle boxing. So Jason, tell me how you're feeling over that amazing 5th round knockout or TKO.
I'm excited, man. I feel like I went out there and I did what I was supposed to do. I fought the way that I was supposed to fight, and I'm proud of my performance. So, and at the end of it, I was able to give God the glory. So I'm excited about it.
And tell me, what was the biggest difference from this fight and the last fight? Because if you watch that last fight, it was a bloodbath. It was a war. Your face was pretty messed up afterwards. Well, I'm talking to you now just a few days after the fight, and you look like you haven't even been in a fist fight. So tell me, what was the biggest difference for you to make that happen?
Man, I just had to fight smart. I had to actually use the game plan. We had the same game plan last fight. I trained, a lot of the same stuff. And, I just threw it out the window whenever I got punched last time. The plan was this time, just make sure that no matter what you get hit with, you fight smart the whole time. And that's exactly what I did.
And did it feel different for you while you were in there since you guys have fought before? Did it feel like at all familiar, or was it no, it was still just as crazy as it was the first time?
I don't know. It was easy that time. The first time I got hit and I quit thinking. I didn't use my head at all. That time I was completely calm, cool, and collected the whole fight, constantly thinking, trying to figure out, how to hit him without getting hit. And, for the most part, that's what happened.
And tell me, who are you maybe wanting next? I see a lot of people talking about Johnny Belfort versus Artem, or possibly even you, the 135-pound champion in the bare knuckle boxing. And I kind of want to get your thoughts. Like, who would you like next to fight?
Man, I've talked back and forth with Paulie Malignaggi. He's talking about he would do a boxing fight with me, and I would actually like to go and try out a boxing match against Paulie. I don't care if it's for bare knuckle or if it's for somebody else. I would like to go and test myself against him because I think that he's a good boxer, and I think my boxing's getting a lot better. So I would like to go out there and fight him. Then you got Jim Allers and Johnny Bedford as well. I'll fight either one of them. I really don't care. I'm gonna take probably about 6 months off. I got a couple teeth that are messed up. I'm gonna go get them fixed. And, train in the meantime, but not fight for probably about 6 months.
And would something bare knuckle boxing, would they let you do a boxing match, or is it kind of like an open contract, or you just signed only with them?
No, man, I signed, whenever I signed with bare knuckle, I signed for one fight the first time, I signed for one fight the second time. I didn't sign a 3-fight deal or none of that, so I can do what I want,
And if they possibly did bring up another Artem fight, do you think it's time they put a title on it or something?
No, man, honestly, I don't think so because, I haven't beat nobody but Artem Lobov, and I feel like I beat him both times, but they give me a loss in the first one. I won the second one. I don't feel like I deserve a title shot yet. And, Artem, he's beat me and he's beat Paulie, and he lost to me. So I still don't think that he deserves a title shot either. I think that both of us need to get a few more fights in us and see what happens,
And what did you do to celebrate that, 5th round TKO victory? Did you do anything crazy afterwards? Did you go party, or did you just go eat some good food?
Now I went out. I went out to a couple little bars that they were wanting me to come out and autograph and say hey and stuff. I went out with all my family, but man, I didn't even drink anything. I went to church the next morning. That's how I celebrated. I was just happy that God let me do what I was supposed to do, and I was able to glorify Him at the end of it. And I prayed a lot. I prayed that He lets me go out there and fight correctly, and I went out there and I fought correctly. So I felt like I owed it to Him to be in church the next morning.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear that you went to church and everything. And then tell me, what was that? There was a recent video of you getting jumped in a bar by 2 guys, and I kind of just wanted to get your thoughts on that whole situation in the bathroom brawl. Looking back on that, I think everyone kind of knows how it all started and everything. So looking back on that, is there anything you would possibly do different? Maybe punch the smaller guy first instead of going for the big guy, or?
Man, if I would have really thought about it, I would have put both my hands up on the stall door and started, trying to kick people. I had my boots on that night, so that would probably been a better idea to land a couple kicks before they came in or something. But I don't know, man. If I could have just got my way out of that stall, I think I would have been in a lot better situation. But next time, hopefully there's not a next time. But if I could go back and do it again, then for one, I probably wouldn't have I wouldn't have started talking trash, to get it all started. But for two, man, maybe a nut shot or something. I feel like there was a smarter way to go about it.
That's what I always tell my buddies. Man, if you're in a street fight, I'm like, just go for the nuts. Who cares? You're not getting paid for this. Get it over with. Get out of there.
That's it. I mean, poke them in the eyes, whatever you got to do. That's the way it goes in the streets.
And that video did suffer, like, basically of your fight week, but it had me wondering, was that like an old video, or did that really happen, like, almost right before your fight with Artem?
No, man, that happened last December. It was a couple weeks before Christmas, and me and a couple of my buddies went out to the club, and, it just happened.
That's good, yeah, because I was like, man, I know a lot of people were worried, hopefully that fight wasn't going to get maybe stopped because of it, so that's good to hear it wasn't the past. I wasn't sure if not.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't be in a bar, much less fighting in a bar, especially a couple weeks before the fight.
And then you used to fight for the UFC, and is that something that's still open to you? Do you still like doing mixed martial arts, or are you mainly right now just focusing on bare knuckle boxing or boxing?
I like mixed martial arts still, and if the right offer came along, I guess I would take it. But I'm really enjoying the bare knuckle boxing. And just doing boxing training, my body hurts a lot less, and I get a lot more excited about it. I'm not really just super hungry about taking the MMA fight, but I'm super hungry about taking the boxing. The either boxing or bare knuckle boxing. I think it's fun being able to throw nothing but punches, and you don't have to worry about takedowns. You don't have to worry about kicks or elbows and stuff like that.
I know as a fan, I love just watching the stand-up. I love boxing. I love kickboxing. I love Muay Thai. So I always think it's more entertaining just to watch that. You don't have to worry about anyone taking you down. And especially since you're so tough with a great chin, you can always sit there and swing nonstop. And is that one of your biggest attributes as a fighter, would you say, is your toughness, is your mental toughness?
I mean, yeah, I would definitely say that's one of the big things, but I feel like, the further in my career that I go, the better my skill is getting, and I'm trying to make it where I don't have to rely on that heart and that toughness so much anymore.
So you're like a fine wine. With your aging, you're getting even better. For
sure, man. That's the plan. Get better with age.
And how different is like that? Not so much like the fighting part, but the atmosphere when you're doing like a bare knuckle fight over an MMA fight. Like, is the adrenaline the same, or is it kind of like two different types of adrenalines?
It's exactly the same, man. You know you're fixing to go fight, and you don't want to disappoint anybody. You're planning on going out there and having this great performance, and then it's kind of like a panic type feeling. I guess adrenaline and anxiousness. You almost feel sick to your stomach till you get in there and it gets started.
And then tell me, the UFC recently created a belt, the BMF belt, where we saw George Masvidal and Nate Diaz battle it out for that belt. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on that belt. Do you think the UFC should do more belts like that, or do you think that's kind of silly?
I think it's kind of silly, man. I mean, there's divisions, there's number one contenders, and runners up and stuff like that for a reason. There's a ranking system for a reason. But I mean, with the UFC, it's all played out anyways. You could be a number 12 guy, and if you and the champion have problems, and the UFC thinks it's going to make them money to make the fight happen, then they're going to make that fight happen. It's garbage. The whole setup's pretty retarded these days.
Yeah, I agree on that. I do miss the old days when they would really just get them fight the number one contenders back to back, not so much as picking the guy who's going to be the biggest draws for the fights. But I feel like that's your belt. I feel like you should be fighting for that BMF belt. How do you think your fight, if you ever did fight with George Masvidal, how do you think a fight like that would go?
Going against Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah.
His big ass will probably knock me out, man. He's tough. But I would fight him. Don't get me wrong. You know, Jorge's tough, but yeah, I don't want to fight him. You know, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm one of them guys. You know, I'm not ever gonna run away from a fight, but it's not if it's not in my best interest to start a fight, then I'm smart enough not to start a fight. You know.
Definitely. And tell me, who are some MMA fighters that you do think would be able to transfer over to bare knuckle boxing pretty good?
All of them, man. All of them except for the boring wrestlers that don't know how to do stand-up. But I believe, you know, Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, Justin Gaethje, you know, guys like that, the dogs of the sport, they would transfer over and they would kill it.
And which one did you personally like competing in more?
Right now, I'm liking bare knuckle a lot more, man. It's a lot funner to me. The UFC, man, ever since I first started, the judges are garbage, man. You know, they'll let somebody take you down and do absolutely nothing on the ground. You could go for submission after submission, but your submission attempts don't count for anything. They don't count for nothing because the other guy was on top. So, you know, that's just stupid in my eyes. I believe that the judges should have to at least know a little bit of mixed martial arts, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and a little bit of information about what they're doing before they actually go out there and judge.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I feel like all judges should at least compete in some type of martial arts to be a judge. I don't think it could just be someone that gets a license and be a judge. I feel like they should also compete in it, like you're saying. And then, is there anything looking forward into 2020? What's something that you're really going to be aiming for?
I just, you know, cement my name. You know, that's the main thing. For one, I want to make enough money to build me a log cabin on about 50 acres, 10 acres, you know, something like that. I just want to get me some land, and I want to build a log cabin. And other than that, I want to just keep, you know, working towards my legacy. I want to leave this sport known as one of the greatest and, you know, one of the best of all time. And other than that, I don't care.
Well, you're definitely doing that right now, and you're on the right path to doing great things. So keep it up going. And thank you again for giving me some of your time for this interview. It was a great fight to watch this past weekend on bare knuckle boxing. And is there any special shout-outs you want to give to any training partners or any sponsors?
Yeah, you know, of course, my coaches, Brandon Davis and Blake Singley, Brock Weaver. Thank y'all so much for all the help. Cradleman Company, Veteran Farms, Phenomena Fit, and Nelson Outdoors. Those are my sponsors that, you know, they threw forth the money and made it to where I didn't have to pay anything for the training camp. I didn't have to worry about bills or food or anything like that. And that was very comforting. So thank y'all so much.
Well, everyone
and last but not least, thank you, God. You know, all glory to God.
And everyone needs to make sure to check out those amazing sponsors. And thank you again, Jason. And we look forward to your next fight.
Yes, sir. You have a good day. Thank you.